welcome back to the Chicago Homebuyer Show. Yes, we're here to have real conversations with you about buying, selling, financing, and navigating the Chicagoland real estate market. Right? So I'm Dione Branch, a realtor with Allure Dream Homes, and I help buyers understand the market, the neighborhoods, home searches, and what it takes to make you a smart real estate decisions. Okay. Lisa, we can't hear you for some reason.
Maybe because I was muted.
Yes.
So y'all missed my jokes then. I made a joke. I was wondering why you didn't laugh. All right. Well, now I know. This is Lisa J. White, the House Money Mom. I am your mortgage broker. I help buyers understand credit, income, down payment, loan options, interest rates, and what it takes to become mortgage ready. So, tonight, our topic actually is from renting to owning. Is 2026 your year to fire your landlord? And so we're not saying that everybody should just rush out and buy a house tomorrow. That's not what we're saying. But what we're talking about is how to know whether this is your season to start planning, preparing, and moving toward home ownership.
Yes, yes. Because there's a lot of renters out here, and some, don't know, right? So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of renters are starting to ask the questions because they're tired of feeling temporary, right?
Yeah.
So it's like why renters are really thinking about buying, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they're tired of the rent increases, which we've seen
Uh-huh.
recently. We've really seen the rents goes up
Yep.
in the different areas. Probably mostly because of the property taxes as well, which is
Yeah.
causing the owners to go up. But
Yeah.
the tired of the limited space,
Mm-hmm.
tired of the parking issues, right? You got those noisy neighbors, the people above you or the people
Mm-hmm.
below
Below
you,
you. Yeah.
mhm, right? Tired of your packages being stolen, right? Right.
Right.
Can't send a package to your own door, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
and not being able to make the home feel like their own, right?
Yeah.
So, um, from my real estate side, I hear a lot of renters say, they're like, I want a yard, right? Like,
I like my
yeah,
yard.
yeah. So they're
Yep.
like, I want a yard. I want stability. He was like, I want my kids to go to certain schools.
Yeah, that's a big
And
one.
right, yeah, for sure, right? And so I'm tired of moving every time the lease changes. Right. So they're tired. So they're looking at, can I really buy? So
Hmm.
those are some of the real reasons, right, that people are actually looking to start the purchase, right? So
Hmm.
but ownership is not just renting with a mortgage, right? So when you own
Oh, what
your
is it?
you're right. You're responsible. So there's a lot of stuff that goes with it. You gotta. So you got the house, and the house may need some repairs. The house is gonna need some maintenance.
Ain't that
You
what the
have
landlord is for?
but that's what I'm saying. But as an owner, you're doing that. So this is the things that as an owner that you're now responsible for.
Yeah,
So we're just
there's no
letting
landlord to
everybody
call.
know, like, hey, that's why when you actually own, you got some responsibilities really come with it just as much as
Hmm.
um your uh when you own it, it's just not the mortgage, right? There's a little
Yep.
bit more that goes with it, right? And so you have to be prepared. You got to be prepared for some of those things. That means that you gotta kind of have to save some money. You have your utilities, whereas one example is the landlord used to cover your water. Now you have
Hmm.
to actually pay for your water and your garbage pickup. That's all one bill that kind of comes together a lot of times.
My water is separate. And I got something called a sanitation dish. I'm gonna tell y'all a story. This is embarrassing, but I'm gonna share it anyway. So when I bought my house, there was a water bill that I got from the city, like the village. I live in Downers Grove. So the village of
Mm-hmm.
Downers Grove sent me a water bill. So I'm like, okay, so I paid my water bill, right? Um, but then I kept getting this other little thing that looked exactly like, the
The
water
water
bill.
bill.
Yeah, so I thought it was a water bill. Well, it wasn't. It was a sanitation district, which is also a part of the city of Downers Grove, the village of Downers Grove, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not really paying attention to it because I knew I paid the water bill and it
Right.
looked just like the water bill. So why one day I go in to take a shower, my water was off.
What was it? So it was
My
the water
water
bill.
was off because I didn't pay that stupid sanitation bill.
So the sanitation and the water was the same bill.
No, they're two separate bills, but they both have the ability to interrupt your water service if you don't pay it. So I had no idea. I'm like, what the heck? What? My water's off. What's going on? I'm thinking, a pipe burst somewhere or something. I hadn't paid my bill. Didn't even
Right.
know. Yeah. So yeah, you got to be responsible. Don't be like me and not
Mm-hmm.
pay your sanitation bills.
Right. Well, I live in the city of Chicago. So in the city of Chicago, you actually have one bill. There's water, and that's covers water, garbage pickup,
Okay.
things like that. So yeah, so each area, each city is different. And so you
Mm-hmm.
definitely want to make sure you take the time to contact the
Better figure it
town.
out.
Right,
Better figure
right,
it out and look at all your mail. Better figure it out.
right, and find out exactly what is actually needed. So, what you really have to pay for. So utilities cost is also included, and then just maintaining the long term condition of your home, because right. So there's sometimes that you need to you have lawn care, and so
Yeah.
then you don't want weeds to grow because that ruins the concrete, that ruins the outside of your home. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of different things as an owner that also comes with it. So we're not trying to scare you off. That's why a lot of people with renters like, oh, I don't want all those bills. But there's some nice parts to it as well as being the owner. But this is also reality. And so
Yes.
what we at here at Chicago Homebuyer Show, we all about being real with you and making sure you understand what is all involved in the whole
Yes. Yep.
process. So the real question is, are you ready for the responsibility of being an owner and not just the excitement of owning, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's good. So from the lending side, a lot of times I hear renters ask about if they throwing money away by renting. But the truth is renting may be serving a purpose for you right now, because obviously it's giving you shelter, at the bare minimum, but it might be giving you some level of flexibility, and some time to prepare for your longer term goals, that being for being a homeowner. But if home ownership is your long term goal, then rent shouldn't be your hiding place. It should be more like a place of preparation. So you might be ready to start preparing for home ownership if one, you have stable income. That's important. People that's going back and forth from job to job, don't know what they want to do and things like that. You're probably not a good candidate for home ownership because one of the things that home ownership is going to require is your stability. So you want to have stable income. You want to either already have good credit or be working on your credit. Saving some money, put some money aside, because contrary to what some people say, they say if it's on the internet, it's got to be true, right? But that's not true. But sometimes you might hear people say, oh, you don't need no money to buy a house. Well, that's a lie. Because you do need money for some things. You need to be able to show assets. You need to pay for an appraisal. You need to put down earnest money. If you would like to have an inspection is not free. So all of these are different things that you need to be prepared for, in addition to the funds that it will actually take to close. We call that the cash to close, but you want to be prepared with that as well. And then the next thing is that you want to understand. So number 4, you want to understand what you qualify for. Now that's where I come in, because you do want to talk. I'm the one that can tell you. You can talk to me and I can tell you, or another, mortgage loan originator can tell you what you actually qualify for. Because sometimes you have your own level of what you think is comfortable, or what you think you should be able to get. But that might not quite fit into the guidelines and how we actually, calculate income and your debt to income ratios and things like that. So then the last thing, the fifth one, if you're ready to stop guessing and to get a real plan together, then you're probably ready for home ownership, or at least to start planning.
Yeah.
So the first question is, it's not, can I buy my dream home tomorrow? Because what do we call them, Dion? Starter homes, start
Oh, yeah.
homes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So most
Starter
people start
home's
with
a
a
good
starter
place.
home because you're just starting.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
then it allows you an opportunity to grow. Everybody can't go into that first big dream house, that
right.
dream mansion that we all want. Right? So,
Right. Yeah. Get off HGTV. Yes. Because
yes.
they don't always really present a realistic version of how homeownership goes and the steps. Because it's steps to this thing. Steps obviously in preparation to get there, but it's also steps when you get into it. So keep that in mind. So the first question I would say is, what does my financial picture say? And then what do I need to do next after that?
Yeah. All right. All right. So let's see. Being tired of renting versus ready to buy. All right.
Mm.
So
So the
are you being
difference?
right? Right? What's the difference? Right? Being tired of renting is not the same as being ready to buy. Right? Right. No, no. Before you start touring homes, you need to clarify your lifestyle. Have some
Yeah,
clarity, right?
that's true.
Um, you got to ask yourself some questions.
Hmm.
What areas do I actually want to live in? And I think that's really important, especially when you go out and start working with the realtor,
Yeah.
because that's one of the first things I'm going to ask you is, where do you want to live? And you're like, Chicago.
Hmm.
Well, Chicago is huge, right?
Right.
So, right,
Yeah. What
so
area? Hmm.
right, or they always tell me I'd like to live in the south suburbs.
Okay. Well, which one?
Which one? Right, which
Or
one?
at least like kind of a region. You can be
Right,
here or
right.
there. Country Club Hills, or like yeah, some kind of a region or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I love those. Just this, I just anywhere in the south suburbs.
Hmm.
Okay, okay, all right.
Well, I talked to somebody. I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before, that she wasn't sure if she even wanted to stay in the States. I said, well, that can make a difference.
Right,
you know.
right, right. So
So
you,
you may want to come to that decision, before we put together pre-approval, because
yeah, yeah, you got no
taxes,
right. What
licensure.
area do you actually want to live in? So like, and so another like, how long do I plan to stay there?
Yeah.
So that's important because a lot of people now are oh, I'm a first time home buyer and I want one of these grant programs, or
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
there's some down payment assistance programs, but those down payment assistance programs do require you to stay in the home for a period of time. So that's something that you need to know. How long do I
Yep.
plan on actually staying in this home?
Hmm.
Um, right? Do you
Or
want to?
or that $15,000 that you got at closing that you felt was just a grant is going to end up being money that you pay back when you sell. Yes.
Right? Because they will ask for a prorated amount back. So,
Absolutely.
right.
Yep.
So, do you want a condo, a townhome, a single family home, or a multi-unit?
Hmm.
They're all different, and we all and we need to know what we're looking for. And there's some different guidelines around each
Yeah.
one of those, right? So
Yep.
you could be looking at a condo, thinking I really want a condo, but with the guidelines for a condo, actually might cost you more than buying just a single family home, right?
Hmm.
Because you have HOA fees and things like that that you have to consider
Yeah.
in some of those condos and townhomes. And then the single family home or multi-unit, because are you planning on at multi-unit? Are you planning on actually living there? Are you really an investor, or are you a home buyer? So
Hmm.
there's a lot of different questions. Do I need parking? If you're living up north, That might
Mm-hmm.
be, especially Chicago, downtown Chicago. I
Yep.
may not want to live downtown Chicago because I like parking. I like to park in front of my house. I like to
Right. I
park
like to look out my window and see my car.
and see my car, right?
Yes.
And some places, some buildings do have parking, but it all depends on that neighborhood again. So you have to kind of
Yeah.
consider that because okay, maybe you want South Loop condo,
Mm-hmm.
and so there's place where you could park under in your building. That might
Yeah.
work for you, right? But understand there's an additional cost, right? So,
Right.
right. Is public transportation important? Yes. Your kids may need to walk to school, or to get there. You may not actually have a car, or your car is not dependable. And so you say, okay, well, can I at least get on the public transportation, get there? Or
Yeah.
if I get on the metro, how long does it take for me to be on the metro to downtown Chicago or to wherever I want to go in order to get to work? So those
Yeah.
are important. Yeah. Do I need a yard? You're right. Do I like that grass outside?
Right.
Right. And how much maintenance am I willing to actually handle? So those are definitely some important questions. And a lot of renters start with the fun part, right? They like, oh, I want the kitchen, I want bathrooms, I need my backyard,
Right.
I need
Right.
3 bathrooms. You're like, 3 bathrooms?
There's only
Oh,
two of
okay.
y'all.
Right. Right,
The
right.
bathroom for the dog.
Right. And then all the listing photos are very pretty. Right. Oh,
Hmm.
that's so pretty. Yes, right. But inspired buyer starts with their lifestyle. They because the wrong home in the wrong location is can become very expensive emotionally, and even if the payment works on your paper, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's true. And then you know what? Actually, on the lending side, when you're talking about being ready, then we have to look at the numbers because numbers don't lie. Numbers gonna tell you the truth every single time. So, what's the first number? Credit. What is
mhm.
your credit score? Um, but when it comes to credit, it's not just the number as far as what your score is, but then it's also like what are the trade lines, and that's partially a number, like how many trade lines do you have, but then how long have you had them, that's a number. And then what are we looking at as far as how they rate you for how you've paid. So I look at all of that different stuff. How much debt do you have? How much income can we document? Because some people have income that's it's not documentable, so we can't prove that you actually make the money. So that can, have some impact as well. And then another thing is, do you have any recent late payments on your credit? Because that can have an impact on how we're able to qualify you, or if we're able to qualify you, with other things that are factoring in. So collections, disputes, student loans, all those kind of things are going to be reporting on your credit. And then, are you paying your rent on time? Because there are loans where we do have to confirm rental payments over the past 12 to 24 months. So, any of those things could have an impact on your ready number. So, that's
Which
not to
you know
go ahead.
something that we really don't haven't talked about. I was just looking at this, and we were talking about how much money you have saved,
Yeah,
but with that, when they're using that money for their down payment, that money has to be in their account for a period of time, right?
60 days. Hmm.
Okay. So yeah, so I don't know if we talk about that often. And I think that's really something important because people need to understand that they will have to qualify that money in their account if it's not in there for 60 or for over 60 days.
Yeah, that's true. We'd
Mhm.
have to do what they call source it
Yeah.
and show where the money actually came from. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point. Yeah. And none of this is to scare anybody, but this is how we build a roadmap. We always talk about preparation. And so this is something that you do in order to be prepared. Sometimes buyers think sometimes, excuse me, I should say it the other way. So sometimes buyers are actually closer than they think. Sometimes they need a 90-day plan. Sometimes they need a 6-month plan. But I've had a couple of times where, a person thought that they were not ready. And then once we sat down and actually did the numbers, turns out they were.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
mean, they
I
didn't
think
have to have a 90 or 60-day plan. Just go
Mhm.
right into finding the
Right
house.
in. And a lot of times when people call me, because people always assume, well, I'm not ready yet. I need some more time. And I always
Mhm.
ask them, like, well, what's holding you back? How's your credit score? Because a lot of people think, oh, well, my credit score might be a 700, and I was really trying to get to a 800. And I'm like, girl,
You don't need 800 to buy a house.
right. You don't need no 800. I'll be like, really? No,
Yeah.
you're good. You're good.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, but once we figure out the truth, then guessing is over. And you don't have to wait until your lease is almost up to try to figure out whether or not you can buy. That's how people end up rushed, stressed, and making decisions, with the eye twitching.
Hmm.
Okay.
So, what's the 2026 market means, right? Like, so we've kind of talked about the market a little bit last week, but I think the market, um, definitely is different, right? So for renters thinking about buying, understand that the market is not the same in every neighborhood,
Yeah, you
right?
can't beat
So
that dead horse enough. Yeah.
right, or the price range. And so especially in Chicago, there are some areas where the price of the houses may be lower, or prices might be higher. Homes may go off the market a little quicker because
Hmm.
some homes are competitive, still competitive. Some
Yeah.
sellers are a little bit more flexible. Some homes are overpriced, and so they're on the market a little longer. And so
Yeah.
we're able to kind of negotiate, but it all depends on the seller. It depends on the neighborhood. So there's a lot of different things that goes into the market. And a lot of people, oh, there's nothing out here for me to buy, or the fact of, oh, um, the houses are going so fast. So it all depends, right, on your on the area that we're looking in. So when
Yeah.
you start looking, we have to pay attention to some things, right? So we have to pay attention to the neighborhood, right?
Hmm.
Which neighborhood,
Definitely.
right? And that goes for a lot of different reasons, right? So if the neighborhood is an up and coming neighborhood, prices might be a little higher. If the neighborhood is a kind of has some concerns with it, in Chicago, our neighborhoods go from block to block, so it's always
Yep.
good to kind of drive around the neighborhood to get an idea of what it's like. Because even in the up and coming neighborhoods, right, the condition of the home is very important to have a home inspection during your purchase.
It is.
Because some people, oh, I don't think I need a home inspection. The only people that I say don't need a home inspection is an investor, and they're looking to actually rehab the house, so they don't care because they know they're going to
They're
put
gonna
some
be
work in
doing
the
it over. Yeah.
house. So how long has it been on the market?
Hmm.
Whether the seller has adjusted the price, how it compares to the recent sales,
Hmm.
whether there may be room for negotiation. Right. So a prepared buyer can spot opportunity better than a rush buyer. So make sure that you are prepared.
Yep. Absolutely.
Our favorite P word.
Right. So for renters, the biggest financial adjustment is really just understanding the whole monthly payment because with rent it's just one payment, but with your mortgage payment, it's actually broken down to about 5, maybe 6 different parts. So you have the principal and interest, the property taxes, the homeowner's insurance, the mortgage insurance, or what we call PMI. And then if, like how Dion talked about, being in a townhome or a condo, any place with an association, you have HOA dues. And there's actually a sixth one, very rare. But if you live in a flood zone, flood insurance is required. So that would be a sixth component of your mortgage payment. So
Yeah.
you have to keep that in mind. Unlike your rental payment, which is going to be, flat the whole time around, even though it's not on me, I don't change your mortgage payment. But if your property taxes or insurance make an adjustment, then the mortgage company is going to have to, make that adjustment as well. So it's not that your principal and interest, your loan for me didn't change, but
Mhm.
because we collect the property taxes and insurance, if that changes, then your monthly mortgage payment can change.
Yeah. And we talked to you mentioned flood insurance, like so that's something. I mean, I'm not an insurance agent. So, but there's a difference between the different flood insurance that's out there. So there's like, if you're somebody, they may say if you're in a flood zone. And
Right. That's
so
the only flood insurance.
that's
That's the only thing that's officially considered flood insurance is if you're in a flood zone and it's a requirement by
yeah.
FEMA.
And so a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, I have flood insurance or something." But now we have a lot of rain that has been coming in and people's basements have been flooding.
Mhm.
And we say flooding, but they have been taking in water. And so
Right.
that's why some people think, "Oh, well, I have flood insurance." No. So that's a different insurance. And I just kind of wanted to bring that up when we talk about flood insurance. So,
Yeah. No, that's a good thing to point out because it's two different things. Flood insurance is a requirement when you're in a flood zone. If you want to add a rider for water backup insurance on your homeowner's insurance policy, that's something different. You'd have to
yeah.
have, talk to your agent and have that included. Um, So yeah, those are things to keep in mind that you have a different your monthly payment can actually fluctuate, unlike with your rental payment. Once you get a rental payment for the year, that's usually it until they increase it, the next time because rental payments always go up. Mortgage payments can either stay the same, go up, or go down in the
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, okay. So
Right.
what about how to know if 2026 could be your year?
Yeah. So you may wanna no you may want to be your year if you're clear, right? Where
Mhm.
and how you want to live, right? So
Okay.
you may be ready if you know the general area where you want to buy. We've talked
Uh-huh.
about that.
Yeah.
You plan to stay in a reasonable period of time, right?
Hmm.
So we kind of talked about that. You understand your first home may not be your forever home.
Right. Yeah.
hmm So, and you can separate your needs from your wants, and that's
Absolutely.
very important. And I think we're going to talk a little bit about that, right? And you're open to guidance because
Hmm.
we're here as a team to help make it your decision, guide you through this process so it can be easy. And you're ready to make decisions when the right home appears.
Yeah.
And right, so to be honest, it's all about your life, right? And
Yeah.
are you planning for a major job change, thinking about moving out of state,
Oh,
unsure
yes.
about your household size, buying because you're ready or because someone else is pressuring you? So these
Mm.
are definitely some things that you should consider because buying a home should support your life, and not trap your life.
Absolutely. And then 26 could be your year if your finances are trending in a good direction. So if you have steady income, your credit is good, or you're working on it. If your debt is manageable, you have some money saved, you can document your funds. That's really important. And you're really willing to go through the process of reviewing paperwork and follow the plan. Keep in mind, if you're working with us, we're going to tell you the truth. So
Mhm.
if you don't have thick skin, you may want to get a little bit of it because, and not to say that we're mean, but we do want to give you the hard truth because you can't do better if you don't hear it.
Right.
So
It helps us to be honest with you and let you know exactly what you
yes,
can afford or what you can and cannot do. Um,
right.
I really don't want to just go out sightseeing.
Right.
Mm,
Nobody wants to just go sightseeing. I agree.
mm,
So,
mm.
but knowing the things that you need to fix, that's progress. It's not like you saying never. It's
Yeah.
just not right now. So what's a no today or a not yet today with the plan that becomes a yes later. So
All right. So let's talk about some of the things that the renter should do before buying.
okay,
So, renter, before you begin your search, I recommend that you make two lists. All
two.
right. So a must have and a nice to have. So two lists, right? And so that's really important when we're looking at houses. So the things that truly affect your daily life is your must haves, right? The
Okay.
number of bedrooms, your location, your commute, parking, school district, if you have
Mm-hmm.
children, right? Public transportation, safety and comfort, and space for children, parents, or work from home needs. And so, because you really don't want to buy a house and then everybody's all on top of each other, that's
Oh, right,
really a
right.
bad feeling as well, right?
No
So,
fun.
those are your must haves, and then your nice have is: do I want to update the kitchen? Do I want to
Mm-hmm.
finish basement? Do I need a large yard, fireplace, walk-in closet? Although I think a closet is a must have, but don't you need it?
Well, it
But
said walk in. You said walk in closet, so.
yeah, some houses are closets are really small, and so
So I'm
no.
not gonna ask you how many pairs of shoes you have. Just go ahead.
Exactly right. So as a relative, sometimes I'm like, oh, you like that? Oh, right. That's what I might not be really honest with you because I'm over there like I need a walk-in closet, right? And then the other thing is new appliances. All those things, some of those things you can get later on. You can change your house because it's yours, and you
That's
can make
right.
it what you want later on. So you can. Does it fit your basic need at first, and that's your must-haves.
Hmm. Yeah.
All right.
Um, Also, just a suggestion is, drive through neighborhoods different times of day. Dion says that a lot. Look at the parking, traffic, nearby stores, and how things feel. Because photos are one thing, but actually being there in person is something else. So for me, we already kind of talked about it. You're going to review your credit. Stop creating new debt. Stop buying stuff. Okay, this is not the time. If you want to buy a house, then you don't want to buy anything else. You want to have money in an account so that we can document it, not underneath your mattress or hidden your Brazil. We don't want that.
Right.
um, and then obviously you want to talk to us as early as possible. Have a conversation with me or your mortgage professional as early as possible, and do not deposit mystery cash. Don't just come up with $5,000-$10,000 out of nowhere. All of a sudden you just dump it into the bank. That's not going to be good. You don't want to move money all over the place because underwriters do not like that. And again, we don't want to do new credit. So don't open new credit cards. Don't co-sign. Please don't co-sign because you're trying to be nice. Nice can be expensive and it's going to end up costing you, not the other person. So
Yeah.
yeah. How about some final advice in closing?
Some final advice is make sure you're clear that you're ready to buy, right? That's the first thing. Start paying attention to the neighborhoods,
Uh-huh.
right? Learn what homes are selling for. Be honest about what you need. Right, so that's really important, and don't
Yeah.
compare your journey to somebody else's.
That is huge.
All right. Your friend is always going to tell you that they didn't pay no money for their house.
Right.
Girl, how much down payment did you pay? Girl,
Well, they
I ain't
just
paid
gave it
nothing.
to me. They just
Right.
gave
I had no down payment. I didn't have to bring nothing to closing. They a lie. They a lie. Right,
it.
right, right. You know your friend better than I know your friend. Right. So
Mhm.
when you take it with a grain of salt when they tell you, and then you come talk to professionals because their situation is different from your situation.
Every
And
time.
so
Yep.
maybe there was something that came across that was lucky for them where they didn't have to pay, but or maybe they just didn't want you to know all their business, right?
Right, right. That's what it is.
Right.
And I would say for me, my final advice is before you fire your landlord, make sure your finances can hire the house.
Yes,
So,
I love that.
and another thing, just keep in mind, if you're not ready today, that's okay. Don't worry about it. This is where you start. So around this time next year, you will likely be ready. Give us a
Mhm.
call. We can walk you through it. Like Dion like to say, she holds your hand. I don't hold your hand, but she will hold your hand.
I will hold your hand.
I'm a
Sure.
taskmaster. I'm gonna give you some tasks and be like, this is what you need to do.
Right. I'm gonna hold your hand throughout the process,
She's
guide you
so
through
nice.
it. Right. While Lisa's being over there being a bully. No, she won't. She's not like that. She's very motivating while you're going through, because she makes sure that you understand the whole process. She says she doesn't, but she does, right? So,
Stop messing up my rough exterior. I'm trying to look a certain way.
so we want to take a moment and say thank you for joining us. Right. Um, we're here, Chicago, every Wednesday, Chicago Home Buyer Show.
Yep,
We're here for you.
that's right. Where Chicago buyers get the real story before they make the big move.
All right. All right. And if you want to get in touch with Lisa, and to
Me.
get pre-approved, that's her phone number. You could go ahead, give her a call. She can share with you the steps that you need to take in order to get pre-approved.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to talk to me and just get some advice in the beginning before you talk to Lisa, you could always give me a call as well. I'm here. We have credit repair specialists on our team that can help you as well. So we have a whole team of people that's ready and waiting to help and serve you. All
Yep.
right. So
All right.
thank you.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you all right back here next week, 6 o'clock Central Time for the Chicago Home Buyer Show.
Yes. Yay. Thank you.